Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. And I hope you're all enjoying the run up to Christmas 2022. I hope you're all having a better time of it than we are in the Kilt Mansion. Now, before you start thinking, oh here he goes, he's going to start banging the Woe Is Me drum again. And there's drums playing right now. You'll find out why. No. Things have not been so great of late. It's not been a good year, especially. A lot of you know many of the things that have happened. And a lot of you out there also know some of the things which the other people don't know about. Because there's been more. There's been a lot of stuff that's gone wrong this year. And but the yin and yang of Christmas, the ups and downs, the hopefulness and then the despair of it all. It's all been brought crashing home to us again. So, the ups. Right, Friday night, had a great big do to go to. Fantastic. Enjoyed it. Got completely leathered. And then the next day, I was out all day. And then I had to meet Mrs. Kilt-Man for a house party. Not here. And it was wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Loved it. Had a great time. We got home about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. But traipsing through the snow and the ice. Snow and the ice, you say? Yeah. So we get home 3:30, 4. We're woken at a call about 6:30 to say that her father-in-law's house was flooded. His pipes had burst. Oh, shit. You're not, as Mrs. Kilt-Man said, because I go out all the time, she barely ever goes out. And, partying, because she's more studious than I am. She's studious, I'm reckless, But, so we had to go straight over there, get an emergency plumber out. And sadly, it has completely flooded out. Yeah. Anyone who's been through the burst pipe scenario during the winter time, what a disaster it truly is. And the thing is, before you go thinking, well, hang on, what about Mrs. Kilt-Man's dad, your father-in-law? Well, he's not there. He's in hospital. He doesn't even know. He doesn't know. His house is now the Titanic. How'd you tell someone that? Anyway. And then there's other issues as well, which is, again, this is a roundabout way of me saying why you didn't get any videos over the weekend itself. Busy frivolity on one day, and then Saturday, and then Sunday was just a write-off. It never rains, but it pours, you could say. Now you're hearing voodoo drums there. Voodoo drums. This is from the score, the great score by James Bernard for 1965's classic Hammer horror, The Plague of the Zombies, which I've covered quite comprehensively already in a massive in-depth review on it. I love it, and I'll post the link to that review down below. But voodoo, I've got a feeling there's some witch doctor out there that I have inadvertently pissed off at some point, because I've got a feeling there is a wee straggly haired tartan covered doll getting stabbed aplenty. More bad luck, more. Eat this. Oh, dip you in some whiskey. And then I'll set you on fire. But folks, there's positivity from this, because it's Christmas and I absolutely refuse to be downhearted and despairing, despite what the next travail might be, which is, it's coming down the road towards us right now, I can sense it, I can feel it. But no, I want to say thanks to a whole bunch of people. Steve W7 Smith for sending all the wonderful canvas artwork which you see bedecked around the walls of the Kilt Mansion. You see them unveiled all the time. Astrodyne, who sends massive crates bigger than you can possibly imagine, filled to brimming, crammed with other boxes usually, like Russian dolls. The more you open, another one is there, full of merch, cult items, and just majesticness par excellence. The likes of Captain Ron over on the Emerald Isle, who sends some great stuff. And often out the blue. This is coming for you, and it arrives. And it's a lot of Jaws related stuff, because me, Captain Ron, and most of you guys all love Jaws. On a similar note, I want to say that there's a watch along party coming along for Jaws, We're going to do it, folks. We're going to do it. And I'm doing it because A, I want to do it. B, you all love Jaws. And C, because Captain Ron specifically asked me to do it as well for Christmas as a little Christmas present for him. So you're all gonna get that, but it's actually for him. It's for all of us. Come on now, it's Jaws. Jaws is the big fan favourite of everybody. Ricky Murray keeps cropping up with little bits and bobs as well. Ricky, he's awesome. And right now, I want to thank Scrowy from Down Under. Yeah, you know him, you love him because there's been stuff sent before. Swords and things. My God. Samurai swords. Movies. UHDs. Awesomeness. What did he send this time? Oh, well, I'm not doing the unboxing because he said, don't do that. Just open it. It's just prezzies. Well, one of the prezzies was thus. It's a bottle of Chivas Regal. Scottish blended whiskey. You know me, I love me single malts, but I tend to primarily drink the blends. And this is a lovely one. You often hear the word creamy, and you think, if you don't know whiskies, people go like, your whiskey shouldn't be creamy. Really? This is creamy. Hint of honey to it, but the creaminess is in the texture. It doesn't taste like cream, it's not like that. But it's the smooth, and the rarity. I'm drinking it from the glass, not the bottle. That kind of bottle there, see that? That gorgeousness there. You don't want to be swigging from that. That's uncool and uncouth. If you're drinking grouse like I normally do, that's all right. But that, no. You kind of want to keep that. So, cheers, Scrubby. He also sends a fantastic scented candle for Mrs. Kilt-Man. And although Mrs. Kilt-Man actually hasn't claimed it as yet, because I likes it, I does. It's jasmine and hang on, I'm gonna find out for you now because it's right here. It's in this box. Pomegranate and jasmine, and when you go like this, because we haven't actually utilised it as yet. Oh my God! And I remember. Well, it was only a couple of weeks ago when we had the funeral for my mum, big kilt mama, and they were splashing the incense around. Wow, that was good stuff. Whoa! Do you have to get in league with the Catholic Mothers Union, and the Pope to get a good deal on that stuff because that's really good. I don't do any sort of spliffs or nothing like that or any of that. Nothing at all. I drink. That's what I do. I drink. But I did see. Oh, can that get you high? Because it sure does feel good, And that's the same. And it's a scented candle. He also sends, and it's over there. Oh, it's big to get. It's a big Christmas cake. But we opened the box, and I was like, what the hell's that? And it's in a very strange shaped box because it's a big Christmas cake. It's all folded over and all that. But all the writing, everything on it is in Italian, and there's a lot of writing on it. A lot of instructions on how you can have it, how you can sample it, taste it, what you do with it, what you serve it with. But it's all clearly in Italian, and we were like, what is it? And it's my daughter. My daughter went, it's a cake. It's a Christmas cake. You fool. So we're going to be enjoying that as well. So Scrowy, I want to say a great big thank you, mate. And to everybody else as well. Thank you for the support to the channel and everything. Because without you guys, this is nothing. It's just me sitting here, getting drunk and just talking complete waffle into my own camera. Hang on, that is exactly what I'm doing, isn't it? That's exactly what I'm doing. And Mr. Kentucky Fudge says thank you as well. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Scrowy. Everybody. Now, so to get back into the feel of doing videos, because if I miss a couple of days doing videos, I genuinely feel bad because I view this as a kind of service, not only for myself, but to you guys, the diligence and dedication and devotion that you guys have shown to me. I need to keep putting stuff out there, and I want to, except when things get in the way, and I really hate it when that happens. So, anyway, there is something to show you. Haha! The whole point of this video really is to show off this guy here. See this guy here? This is from Mego. Mego Monster Toys. There's the packaging. And it's from 1965's Hammer Horror, The Plague of the Zombies. And we'll talk about the film as well, don't you worry. But there is the signature, the hero zombie, you could call him really, because he features in it several times, and he is one of the most terrifying zombies ever. I've mentioned him separately as well because I did a video a long time ago on a list of my favourite zombies, the most effective zombies in movies, and there was all sorts. There was him from Zombie Flesh Eaters. There was David Emge playing Stephen from Dawn of the Dead. I've got the mask. Oh, I should have brought that down, shouldn't I? Ironically, I made a mask for this guy for this movie of John Carson, who plays Squire Hamilton, the evil, nefarious, voodoo practicing squire, the aristocratic twat in this little Cornish town where everyone is dropping dead of some mysterious plague, and then they're being reawoken as zombies to work in the old disused tin mines, because he's trying to make some money off the backs of the underdogs, you know. And Hammer, as I've always said, they were the working man's horror movie. They were for the underdogs, the lower classes, and they hated the aristocracy. You look at how many films depict the upper classes as being complete evil bastards. It's almost all of them. Dracula himself was the biggest aristocrat going, and they took their impetus from him. So Squire Hamilton, John Carson, has this little voodoo mask. He's been out to Haiti and he's learnt voodoo. I wish I could learn voodoo that quickly. And he's come back and he's used his skills on this little Cornish town, killing off various people, cursing them, doing all sorts. And he's a shit-eagle as well. Like, he really is a bastard. And fox hunting, that's a big no from Kilt-Man. And he indulges in that too. And then digs them up and then sends them to work in the mines. But he also they do other things. This guy played in a film by an actor called Ben Aris. And this guy is John Martinez. Or not Martinez, that makes him sound like someone from Argentina who just won the World Cup. Martinus. And he's seen wandering around. But he has this evil persona. And we first encounter him where he's holding the body of the wonderfully, lustrously gorgeous Jacqueline Pearce. Yes, who played Servalan in Blake 7. Who's also in The Reptile, which was filmed concurrently back to back with Plague of the Zombies. This was Hammer's exercise in cost cutting, making movies back to back, using the same cast, the same crew, on the same sets, just redressing the sets. And you'd had Dracula Prince of Darkness and Rasputin the Mad Monk. And then you had The Reptile and Plague of the Zombies. I have reviewed both Plague of the Zombies and The Reptile. I don't think I've done Prince of Darkness, although I've talked about it a lot. And I definitely haven't covered Rasputin the Mad Monk, because I've barely ever seen that film, to be honest. It is good, but it's not a horror film as such, so that's probably why I tend to leave that one alone. I should look at it again, because it's Christopher Lee again, and playing a really wild character as well. So, anyway, and it was a successful experiment as well in these back-to-back movies, because they proved very popular. Great double billing. I have the mask of Jacqueline Pearce, who plays the Reptile in The Reptile, which I should have brought now. But now I have the figure of Ben Aris, and he has the body of Alice, played by Jacqueline Pearce. What's happened is, let's set the scene for this properly. A lot of mysterious deaths are occurring in this Cornish town, and Dr. Peter Thompson, played by Brooke Adams. Is it Brooke Adams? Just check that. Yeah, Brooke Adams. And he's all right. He's not the greatest of actors, but anyway, he quits himself reasonably well. He's being held he's been blamed for it because he can't find the reason why people are dying, including this guy, whose brother, his own brother, Tom, he's John, but Tom Martinus, is like, hey, you're to blame for all this. So he sends out to his old tutor, Sir James, played by the awesome Andre Morel, who's in a lot of Hammer stuff, a lot of great movies, in the 50s and 60s. Wonderful, wonderful character actor. So he and his daughter Sylvia, played by Diane Clare, because she persuades him to come out. Come on, father, find out what's happening. And plus, I could see my old schoolmate Alice, because they grew up together. Alice, Jacqueline Pierce. But as everything goes horribly wrong, they incur the wrath of Squire Hamilton, and they definitely realise that something is afoot. And start digging up bodies of the recently dead, and find they're not there. Well, where are the bodies? And they also interrupt a voodoo ceremony, bringing up one of these caskets as well. But our first encounter with him, Sylvia, that's Sir James's daughter, has sort of stoked the ire of the huntsman and John Carson's Squire Hamilton. And she will end up being dragged off to the big mansion, the Squire's Hall. And she's being passed around all these... And it is not a pleasant scene. And they're selecting who's going to have their wicked way with her, who's going to rape her. But the Squire, not him. I'll put him down. The Squire steps in, intervenes, and stops it. And I'll send you home. This is not the way I behave. I'll reprimand all these men, but you will not go. No. I'll make my own way back. And that's when she will go past the old satanic mines with the big wheels on the top of these hills, where they're bringing up the carts full of the tin and whatever else they'd be digging up down there. And she just sees this figure. Well, not this action figure, but this figure on top of this hillock with the wheel turning behind. And he's got the body of her friend Alice. And in a departure from the actual screenplay, where he's meant to just drop the body down the hill and utter a melancholy, mirthless laugh, soundless laugh of the undead. What he does, a big manic grin on his face, and he just goes, ha ha, and hurls the body. You're like, Jesus Christ. The body rolls down, lands at Diane Clare's feet, Sylvia's feet. It's like it's her friend. Looks up again, he's vanished. But it's his face, his action, his maniacal mirth. It's exactly the opposite of what he's meant to do in the script. It's meant to script by Peter Bryant. It's meant to just be soundless, but his cackle is tremendous and his look is horrifying. Right, I'm going to show you this figure now, but we'll talk about the movie again. They're in sort of sackcloths. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Are they putting this is a detail I've forgotten. Are they putting the bodies, because they're possibly plague-ridden, in sackcloths and then putting them into the coffins and burying them? Because why are they wearing these sackcloths? This is 19th century Cornwall. It should be fairly dapper, one would have thought. Right, but the makeup for the movie was by Roy Ashton. Who was one of the main makeup guys for Hammer. And what he did, it was little tiny pinhole white lenses, which apparently hurt like hell, because he just shoved them in. I fucking get in there, and he was trying to see through his pinhole, and it's stretching their lids completely. So not pleasant. And there's not just him, there's a few other zombies, but he's kind of the figurehead. And little pinhole so they can see out of them. And then their faces are covered with a mixture of latex and tissue paper to give it that sort of horrible sort of look, that disheveled, decomposing, rotted, pallid skin. And then a smattering of Fuller's Earth over the top of that. And also some blue wire to make veins and striations in the skin. So there's distended veins are sticking through as well. Now can you hear that? That's the zombies working away in the mine and being whipped at the same time. Here's his face. That is actually a really, really good likeness from Mego. I've just clocked the similar eyes to this guy. This horrible sackcloth thing, but it's very authentic. Barefoot, yeah, no holes in the feet. You may notice that. Can't stick him down, but he stands up pretty well. There's 14 points of articulation, but I will say that there's some. Go on, make a lie out of me. Moving this arm tends to just spring back. You can move the hand around to give him sort of like a groping, sort of menacing gesture, which I like. I'm not going to put his arm up there. He's not swinging through the vines like Tarzan, so you don't need to worry about that. The only thing I'd say is that you want to try to keep that down a bit so you can see his face. It does have a tendency to pop up the robe. You can probably adjust that. It's Velcro at the back, Velcro strip. You can probably adjust that. Put a bit of stitching in it, a pin. I don't know. You can do something. Now, again, I hope you're seeing this properly. He has a look which is not actually consistent with the movie, but it's consistent with all the movie poster artwork. In that some of his teeth seem to be missing here, so the incisors are kind of vamped up, shall we say? So he does look. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you probably can. Like he's a bit more of a vampire. That's not how he looks in the movie. It's not how he looks. But it's going off the posters. Of course, I've got a poster there. There's a poster over there. And that poster came from Steve 7 Smith. And how awesome is that? And you can see him. He's the lead zombie there. That's the guy in the mask. And I made the mask for him. That's what I was going to say before. When I was reviewing the movie, I made the Squire Hamilton's voodoo mask with all the ceremonial stuff all over it and a few horrible weird leather little stringy bits hanging out of it, which is really ugh. And I made it for him. Looked really good, if I do say so myself. I only made it out of cardboard. And I thought, oh, I'll get that mask out again. Yeah, you know it. Gone. Can't find it anywhere. There you go. So, but looking at him right now with those piercing white and yellow eyes. Looks like, you know what, the cream egg, and you've got like it's all the fondant, the yellow and the white. You probably can't see the yellow too well, but his eyes look quite tasty. They look like the inside of a cream egg. Don't you use that against me. Don't you come crawling up the duvet later on and say, I'm your little cream egg. I wouldn't put nothing past him, to be honest. We have cuts on the face. We have lots of straggly bits in the hair. The sculpt on the face is great. The head is magnificent. But what they didn't have, and you're probably not picking it up, I'll try and move him as close as I can, and let's see if he does pick it out. You can probably just about make out two little dots in the centre of the eyes, which would be the white lenses. Now, when you get this in the packaging is there, they're just white. What? The film makes a real clear effort to show that there's little black dots, these little tiny minuscule irises, pupils, irises, whichever ones they are. These things, these big sort of orbs. And yet they make the figure where there isn't any. And I'm looking at the poster art. Actually, the poster art over there, they are just white. But I've got imagery all over it, so you can't see. And you quite clearly see there's various different zombies. You quite clearly see the little dot. So I just took a pen, a normal pen, a pen like that, and I went do. And then I went, oh shit, oh no, it's a big line. No, work fine. Just be careful. Don't stab it like I just did there. Just find the center spot, and just go doosh. And what you'll find is it really will enhance the figure. It looks amazing. I got mine from Amazon. How much did it cost? I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. Not much. I mean, not stupid, not silly prices. It was it £12.99? It might have been £12.99. 12 English pounds and 99 English pence. So almost 13 English pounds. And I think it's great. The minute I saw this figure was available, I thought, oh my god, I'm having that. Now that you have this, and they've got quite they've done a few other Hammer horror figures, but they've also done a lot of Universal horror figures as well. So I'm hoping they get to do Alice, because Alice, played by Jacqueline Pearce, comes back as a zombie. You guys know I wasn't going to talk about Plague of the Zombies without talking about those two scenes. Alice, after being held down the big hill by the tin mine, by him, they go and wake her up after the ceremony's been done. They go and, this is Sir James and Peter Thompson, who's her husband, and they open up the casket, and there she is, Jacqueline Pearce, lying there, and in frame dissolve and not stop motion, but changing of lighting in one, as we're looking at it, seemingly one take, although it's probably about 150 different takes. Her skin changes colour and becomes withered, and then the eyes open, and she comes out the casket, and she advances upon her husband and Sir James, and it's a horrifying sequence. And but she's got this sort of grin on her face. No teeth are exposed, but it's just this grin. And they've filled out her face a bit as well to give it. They wanted to have this sort of the rictus death mask of the undead, to give it a more sort of wider sort of smile, and it works amazingly well. And it's Jack Gilling's direction is just unbelievable. There's not a scene as intense as this in any other Hammer horror film, apart from the scene that comes right after it. Because what happens in this bit? Sir James, they're staggering back, and in the great uttered line, he just goes, then she opens her eyes, he just goes, zombie. And he's just spent the night reading about voodoo and zombies, so all of a sudden he's a fucking expert on all this. But zombie, it's great. Richard Johnson in Lucio Fulci's magnificent zombie flesh eaters, which Wormface here came from, also has Richard Johnson saying zombies in the same sort of way, and it's definitely mimicking it. Another connection I'll talk about in a second between the two films. He will stumble across a gravedigger's shovel, so he picks it up and then brings it down. A head comes off, and it's quite a good decapitation sequence. And you see a headless body lying there with the head alongside it, and the grave is there. And also there's a little sly little note from the Squire, who's done all this with deepest sympathy. Squire Hamilton, bastard. But it's a nice little shot of the head and the card, But and I'm like, oh my god, we cut straight afterwards to the nightmare sequence that her husband Peter Thompson has, Brooke Adams has. Oh dear God Almighty! And this is where this film really, really cements itself in the history of horror. Suddenly, the camera turns a different angle, and the cemetery, with all mist floating around it, suddenly becomes off kilter and askew. And it's just him, and what's going on? Suddenly these hands start coming up out of the ground, pushing the earth away. We see one tomb slightly rattle as a face thrusts through, and the zombies all suddenly appear, including our boy here, suddenly appear, and they advance upon him, and they're walking through puddles of blood with their bare feet, just don't care, just walking through it. And he's just, our boy's like, and they're all amassing around him, but one's come up behind him as well, and as he retreats further back, he just goes, behind him, and then he wakes up after the nightmare. Oh God, it's fantastic. And it really shows that Hammer, during their heyday, when they made the absolute complete, by their terms, blockbusters, and the ones that the critics revered, and now we totally cherish as masterpieces, and there's many of them, when they really they're firing on all cylinders. God, they knew what they were doing. And those two scenes there, Alice's decapitation, going straight into the nightmare sequence, that is a tour de force. It's truly astonishing, and it makes me want to have a figure of Alice, Jacqueline Pearce as Alice, with that look, with her dress on. She's not in sackcloth. She's in a dress, a gown, a funeral gown, and as she's advancing, there's a smile on her face. But you'd have to have, the head should come off. Have it with the grin, but the head can stick on, little pin. But you can also take it off because you've got the bloodied stump of the neck and the bloodied stump, beneath the chin. Put it back on again, take it off. Or would you have, separate heads? I don't know, but it's fantastic because she does do a scream as the shovel goes into her neck. There is like for a split second, that's it, and then the head falls, body falls, but you see them quite a bit. I love Plague of the Zombies. I think it's a fantastic movie. I love the mystery and the elements of voodoo, which is riotously big in this movie. And there's the drums again. And you've got these sort of Haitian, black drummers who are giving you low. One of them's going really crazy. You see at one point, he's got a face like, look at him. It's just wonderful stuff. So for those that want to know, and I wanted to know, what a 1960s style Hammer horror zombie has got under his sackcloth? Let's find out, shall we? Oh, nothing. Oh, the squire. He's chopped off his manhood as well, and he's probably got a big grey bottom. I'm sorry. I mean no disrespect, but you've been brought back from the dead to work for nothing, doing your master's bidding. So his brother, Tom Martinus, will become zombified as well. And he will kidnap Sylvia and drag her to the mines and all that. And you get the big fiery sort of ending where you'll have Sir James having a fight with Squire Hamilton's main henchman, who will be stabbed with his own knife. And then the voodoo dolls will go on fire. They'll stray too close to the fireplace and they'll start smouldering. And then, of course, all the zombies down below, their respective dolls on fire. They start burning. He's down there as well, in a great shot. Oh, who did the photography for this movie? Did I make a note of that? No, I didn't. I forgot who's done the photography for this movie, but it's awesome. They have these great shots down in the mines. We got the thugs who are whipping these poor zombies, and but in the foreground you have him, and it's just like literally just like, oh, focus on it, like that, and there's all people moving around in the background, and you go and turn around as he realizes he's got to go back to where as he's getting whipped. Great camera, and didn't focus on that. I don't know. Take it from me, folks. This is a great figure. 14 points of articulation, and you're not going to want to do much with it because you want to light it. Get that robe sorted out. Have it sort of tucked beneath there a little bit so you can see his face a bit more. And it's just like, in that dream sequence, he walks through the bloody puddles barefoot towards the doctor, and he's going, what's he saying? Is that his interpretation? Oh, you wrote in the script, I've got to do a soundless thing. Did he get it wrong way round? So when he chucked Alice's body, he's like, ha! And that should have been. And then later on, he's like, oh yeah, I've got to be soundless, because he advances on it, and he's sort of mouthing these vile obscenities, but they're soundless, and it just adds to the. What's he saying? Is he trying to say something? It's brilliant. But then you've got to remember, it's actually a nightmare sequence, so he didn't really do that. That's all in the young doctor's blighted subconscious, because he's just seen his wife get decapitated. Come back from the dead and then get killed all over again. Yeah, that is a great figure. Just thought, hang on a minute. Here's the other figure I showed you recently. Khan. Oh, you're much smaller. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do this. Get your hands twisted round. Come on, come here. He tasks me. What? Wait. What are you doing? Ah! Don't worry, I caught him. So yeah, endless fun with little zombie figures. And he is, how big is he? He's 8-inch action figure. 14 points of articulation. I'll show you the, well, there you go, there's the box. There's his face. As you can see there on the sort of posted image there, those front teeth are missing. Well, it's not quite the case in the movie. They're just blackened out. You can see there, they're blackened out. But, and there's a couple of other ones. There's the doctor, having walked backwards into this zombie behind him. He's got, ah! I mentioned zombie flesh eaters again. Flesh eaters has a wonderfully surreal and nightmarish sequence of the zombies coming off the graves. Hands coming out, heads coming out. And they're on little hydraulic lifts coming out the ground. But it looks great, and they're sloughing off all the air that they've been incarcerated in. Now, without a doubt, that is inspired by this movie. There's very few other zombie movies between, or certainly nothing before this which showed them coming off the ground like that. And very little in between that ever showed it. You got Count Yorga Vampire where the hands come out the ground. And there is it Dracula's Risen from the Grave? No, Dracula must, oh God. There is another Hammer Dracula film. But again, it's after this where the hands are coming out the ground. But Count Yorga did show it as well, to a degree. But Alice advancing upon her husband is also, with the long Jacqueline Pierce dark hair and the big eyes and the sort of smile on the face, it is recaptured by George Romero in Night of the Living Dead, where the little girl advances upon her mother with a trowel. It's funny how, like, in Night of the Living Dead, we do say that they pick up rocks to break windows and stuff. They smash, the one in the 70s smashes the car window with a rock or something. One picks up a trowel. You see them hitting the doors with stuff. They do a lot more with the tools around. Dawn of the Dead, yeah, you've got one who picks up the rifle all the time. He's very intrigued by the M16, and he's terrific. But they're not really carrying stuff or doing anything with any of these sort of tools. Bub in Day of the Dead will use an automatic. Yes, we know that. Cheers, y'all. But where's it going with that? But yeah, the thing about the using weapons, but Jacqueline Pierce's look as Alice, George Romero definitely paid attention to that, because that little girl, that's going for that look as well. And it works superbly. So, folks, isn't he great? God, gotta do something about that though. As I say, the colours on his face, the pallid grey from the grave is brilliant. The scratching on the face as well, because he is slightly gory. It looks like he has been, which is probably the real life actor, Ben Aris, going, get this fucking stuff off me. You've glued it on. He will bend at the waist. He will twist at the waist. Let's do the twist. Yeah. I don't know why I gave you like a Bela Lugosi accent there, but and you know, we can do a bit of a stomp. Hey, a stomp from the swamp. And he can sit down. He can probably sit down pretty well, given that. But anyway, but you get it. You will need to put the little dots in the eyes, and then you sort it. Then he can go. Then you can see where he's going about the squire's business. But he'll go up in flames as well, which is such a shame because he's so great. Yeah, I love him. That's from Mego Monster Toys. And it's a brilliant figure. As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, I'm having that. But if you're out there, Mego, do Alice. Somebody do Alice. Alice? Who the fuck is Alice? Someone do an Alice figure with a detachable head. Then we're talking. So you've heard the score. I've talked about the film all over again. It's wonderful. Please do watch the movie. I'll put the link below. What else was I to say? Nothing. No, nothing. I've covered it all. There you go. So please, in the meantime, in this ever thrusting hand through the earth in between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. And I am hopefully going to see you all sooner rather than See, I was doing the Ben Aris version there. It should have been more subdued, perhaps even soundless, but I went, no, I'm going to use much maniacal merriment. Ha! Watch it. He's fucking terrifying. And you can watch the little bits on YouTube as well. The little bits are there. Just put in Plague of the Zombies, Nightmare Sequence, Plague of the Zombies, First Zombie, I think it is, and you get him chucking the body down the air, the hillside. Anyway, folks, you get the decapitation sequence as well. Brilliant. Folks, please take it easy. Zombie.